Back here on Saints Game Day, driven by Placer Motors, it's Daniel Sally, joined by the Hall of Famer Gary Turcotte inside the Concord Insurance broadcast booth as we prepare for tip-off between the Skylights of MSU-Northern and the Fighting Saints of Carroll College in Game 1 of tonight's Frontier Conference doubleheader. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Skylights at guard, a 5'8 junior out of Linwood, Washington, number 10, Riley Walsh. Joining her in the backcourt, a 5'9 sophomore out of Fairfield, Montana, Alex Goldhahn. Playing forward, a 5'10 freshman out of Columbia Falls, Montana, Riley Kerr. Playing guard, a 5'9 junior out of Columbia Falls, Montana, Peyton Kerr. And rounding it out at the 5, a forward, 6-foot-tall junior from Columbia Falls, Sydney Hovde. Of course, the Skylights are coached by Chris Moat, assisted by Sierra Richards and Natalie Faupel. And for the Saints, a little different look for them. Remember, it is senior night, so a little page out of Coach Roy Williams and many of the others who have come before us. A lot of tradition with starting the seniors on senior night. But first, a junior 5'9 guard from Havre, Montana, number 4, Danny Wagner. Starting out forward, a 6'1 senior. Happy senior night to you, Taylor Salonen out of Kalispell, Montana. Playing guard from Clancy, Montana, a sophomore by way of Montana State, number 22, Camden Hilborn. Also in the backcourt, a 5'9 sophomore out of 9 Mile Falls, Washington, number 23, Sienna Swanek. And another big-time, grand old, happy senior night to you, the transfer 6'1 forward out of Boise State, the senior, number 44, Emerald Toth. And Coach Turcotte, I always love when coaches let their seniors get the start on senior night.
Well, it is a lot of fun. You know, Taylor has started some games before, but it's just special on senior night. It really is. It's and there's no year like your senior year. That's the year that you remember the longest. You remember a lot of other games that you played, but you remember the games of your senior year the longest.
Well, we got tip-off here in just a few moments, and like we've already mentioned a couple different times, but might as well mention again, a huge night tonight for this women's Carroll Saints basketball team and Coach Rochelle Sayers as they could clinch at least a share of the conference title here with a victory against MSU-Northern. And once they go from there, who knows what's going to happen with that game at Western tomorrow against LC State. But it's definitely going to be a good one, and I'm going to have my eyes on that ball game down in Dillon tomorrow night.
Right.
And if you're a Saints fan listening, you should tune in as well.
If Western loses that game, Carroll is the champion by themselves. And they could.
Number 1 seed.
And the number 1 seed and be the champion. If Western wins, then there's co-champs.
Here's the tip-off. It's Swanek, and she loses the tip to Riley Kerr. Kerr tips it back and gets it over to Walsh. Walsh will take the ball up the court for the Skylights. White jerseys, yellow numbers, maroon trim for Northern. They'll start the game going left to right across your radio dial. In the middle with it is Goldhahn. Goldhahn takes it outside, guarded by Swanek. She works her way to the near side, gets it over to the wing. Back to Goldhahn they go in the corner. She rifles one inside. Posting up is Hovde. Hovde's shot is blocked. It's stolen by Emerald Toth. Toth gets it over to Hilborn, and Hilborn will take it up the court for the Saints. Saints wearing their purple jerseys, gold numbers, white trim tonight here at home. As they wore their home uniforms last night, back-to-backs. Don't have to worry about the laundry. Just throw on the purples for senior night. It's a good look as there's an offensive foul on the moving screen, and that'll be a turnover on Carroll.
They love that call. That is just such a point of emphasis. And that time it was all kind of a dribble screen that Camden set and got called.
Northern inbounds the ball. Taking it up again is Riley Walsh. Walsh gets it over to Goldhahn, and now a blocking foul called on Camden Hilborn as she tried to get in the way of Goldhahn and draw a charge. But Hilborn, that'll be 2 quick fouls on her.
Oh, that's
but
a
luckily
shame.
The Saints, deep as can be at the guard position, so Jaden Lyman will check in, and they don't miss much of a beat when she comes in.
No, I don't know. She actually tripped on that one. That was an accidental trip, but she did fall into the girl, and you had to call the foul.
9:09 left in the first quarter. Still scoreless. The Skylights get it up the court. Here's a drive, shot up off the glass, and that one's good for Peyton Kerr, the 5'9 junior guard out of Columbia Falls. And she gets the Skylights started, and they get a 2-0 lead to start this ball game. Salonen with it at the top of the key on the other end. She works it over to Wagner. Wagner over towards the top of the key, back to Salonen. She gets it up to Swanek. Swanek over to Lyman. Lyman back up to Swanek. Top of the key, Swanek to Wagner. Wagner for 3. and that's off the rim. No good. Offensive rebound, Emerald Toth. She gets it out to Lyman, and Lyman will set up the offense. 20 seconds fresh on the shot clock for the Saints. Wagner goes inside, looks for Salonen. It's tipped loose by Hovde, stolen by the Skylights. Taking it up the court will be Riley Walsh. Walsh finds Hovde over the top. Hovde finishes off the glass, and that one is good for 2. 4-0 for the Skylights here to start off this ball game on senior night. Jaden Lyman running point again for the Saints. She gives it over to Wagner, now to Swanek. Swanek thinks about the 3 from the top of the key. Instead, she gets a screen from Toth, takes an elbow jumper, high percentage shot for Swanek, and she knocks it down. First bucket for the Saints as they cut it to 4-2 in favor of Northern.
And when Emerald Toth sets a screen, I mean, that is a tough screen to get around. I mean, she's got big, wide shoulders, and that's very effective.
4-2, the Skylights lead. 7:45 left in the first quarter. Here's a drive, blocked by Salonen. Walsh tried to take her threw up the key and to the glass, and Salonen knocked it right out of bounds. Skylights will inbound from the baseline with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Walsh to inbound. She's guarded at the baseline by Swanek. She looks over the top, finally gets it in underneath to Hovde. Hovde works it outside, passes it to Walsh. Walsh calls the play. Guarded by Swanek, picked up at the top of the key. Help defense from Salonen. She knocks the ball out. Skylights continue to move it around. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Walsh has it. She drives. Spin move by Swanek, puts it up, no good. Rebound Salonen, and the Saints have it back, trailing 4-2. Jaden Lyman up the floor. Lyman playing point, works it over to the wing to Taylor Salonen. Salonen to Swanek. Swanek open look from 3, got it! Sienna Swanek knocks it down, and that 3 and all others tonight by both Carroll basketball teams. It is a home game, so they'll be sponsored by Jolene Fuzizi Lloyd with Century 21, and she'll be donating to the SAA and to Family Promise of Greater Helena. Northern takes it down the court again. With it now is Riley Kerr. She works it over to the wing. Back to Kerr. Three-pointer, that's Goldhahn. Goldhahn's 3 is no good. Toth battles for the rebound. Instead ends up tipping it out. Lyman pulls it down, and Lyman will get it up the floor. She finds Wagner. Wagner to Swanek. Another 3 from Swanek. Got it! Sienna Swanek. And Coach Turcotte, what have we always talked about? Sienna Swanek, if she sees that ball going early,
it's amazing,
she's a problem.
It's just, now she's hit 2 threes, and that last one was contested.
Couple threes, a nice elbow jumper for Swanek, and she's got all 8 points for the Saints, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, two threes and a 2.
So Sienna Swanek off to a heater to start this ball game. 6:15 left in the first quarter. The Skylights with it. So they take it up the floor. They swing it around. With it is Goldhahn. She pulls up from the elbow. Shot no good. Rebounded by Swanek. She's doing it all tonight as she takes it across midcourt. She stops at the top of the key to set up the offense. Picks up her dribble. Gets it over to Salonen. Salonen over to Lyman. Lyman now to Swanek. Swanek thinks about it.
She had another look there.
She looks inside for Wagner. Wagner gets it. Pulls it back out to the corner. 12 on the shot clock for the Saints. Wagner inside to Salonen. She posts up. Turnaround. Fade away. No good. Rebounded by Hovde, and Northern gets it back. It's still an 8-4 lead by the Saints as they trailed 4-0 at one point. 8-0 run by Sienna Swanek, and now they're in the driver's seat. 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter for Northern. Kerr with it. She drives, puts up a floater. No good. Rebounded by Toth. Outlet pass. She gets it up to Lyman. Lyman will slow it down. Work to the wing now. Wagner with it. Danny Wagner. Swanek. Open look from 3. She'll take another one. Got it. Sienna Swanek is on fire. 11 points to start this ball game. And the Saints lead 11-4 with 5:05 left here in the first quarter. Taking it up the court is Riley Walsh. Walsh picked up by Lyman. Walsh picks up her dribble, gets it over to Goldhahn. Goldhahn drives, and a foul call. They'll get Jaden Lyman for a block.
So, Daniel, Northern's in a 1-2-2 zone, and the weakness of a 1-2-2 zone is on the baseline in the corner because your post player's got to go all the way out, and that's where Swanek is getting all her threes.
Immediate timeout called, so we'll take one as well. 11-4, the Saints lead with 4:53 left in the first quarter. You're listening to Carroll Basketball on Rewind 94.9. Back from the break, it's Daniel Sally here, joined inside the Cochran Insurance broadcast booth with Coach Gary Turcotte, bringing you game one of tonight's Frontier Conference doubleheader between Carroll College and MSU-Northern. It's an 11-4 Saints lead with 4:53 left, and the kicker on that one, for any of you just tuning in, all 11 points coming from Sienna Swanek, as she is straight up balling out of control right now. And speaking of defensively, Maddie Garrett's coming up with the steal, and she gets it out to Swanek, who will take it up the court. Christine Denny in the game for the first time, kicks it out. Lyman for three from the wing, no good. Long rebound brought down by the Skylights. Running it up the court is Walsh. Walsh gets it out to Kerr. They swing it around. Now Nicholson, who's back in the game for the first time. Her shot goes long. It's rebounded by Denny. Denny will slow it down and get it up the court for the Saints. She goes to Swanek. Open look for three for Swanek. She passes up, though, as there's a closeout there late by Nicholson. So Denny with it now, and she goes back to Swanek. Swanek inside to Wagner, and Wagner gets called for a travel there trying to get to the hoop. So that'll be a turnover on the Saints, and Northern will get it back. Skylights will inbound. Taking it up the court will be Alex Goldhahn. Goldhahn working it up the floor. Picked up by Garrett's on the screen. Garrett's forces it loose, and a very late whistle called on Maddie Garrett's. That'll be her first personal. Third team on the Saints, and the Skylights will inbound from the far sideline.
Yeah, that's actually 4 and 0 on Northern.
Gotcha.
And that can be an issue. I thought a couple of them were ticky-tacky fouls, but a couple of them were legit.
Skylights inbound it from the sideline. Walsh running point again, picked up by Lyman at the top of the key. She works her way to the near side. Now pulls it back out, moves it over across the key, gets it over to Kerr. That's Peyton Kerr on the left wing with the ball. She drives baseline, loses control, out of bounds. Nice defense by Danny Wagner there to deny baseline and force the turnover.
Well, Carroll's playing man-to-man, and Northern does want to pound it inside or drive it and try to get Carroll in foul trouble and score at the free throw line. It's an effective strategy.
Lyman gets it up the court and goes to Wagner. Wagner with it on the near side here. She goes to Swanek. Swanek now to Denny. Denny comes off the dribble, and she gets picked by Walsh. Walsh takes it down to the other end. Walsh, little Euro step through, loses control of the ball, but Peyton Kerr's right there for it. She takes a baseline jumper, no good. Nice box out by Swanek. Swanek gets another rebound, and she'll push it up the floor for the Saints. Swanek out to Wagner on the corner. Wagner will work it back up to the top. Back to Swanek, she goes inside. Garrett's with it. I don't think she realized how open she was, but she instead takes the dribble, makes a little shimmy, puts it off the glass, in for two. 13-4, Saints lead by 9. Taking it up the court is Walsh. Walsh, guarded by Lyman. She passes it over to Goldhahn. Goldhahn in the corner. Goldhahn works back towards the top. She gets it back to the corner. Over the top pass looking for Hovey. Lyman coming across like a free safety, jumping in front of that pass, but gets tipped out of bounds. That'll be last touch by the Saints. Northern will have it from the baseline with 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
Carroll is trying to front the low post and doing a good job. Northern's trying to lob, but it's really hard, Daniel, to lob from the corner. It's a real bad angle to try to get a lob. That time they were lucky to get away with it.
Inbound, Alex Goldhahn has it. 5 on the shot clock. Walsh with it now. Walsh picked up by McDermott, gets it across the court. Here's a runner at the end of the shot clock. No good from Kenya Lorton, and that'll be a shot clock violation as that one failed to hit the rim. And the Saints will get it back. They lead by 9, 13-4, with 2:30 left here in the first quarter. Taking it up the court, it's Lyman. Lyman setting up the offense for the Saints. She goes inside. Denny has it, pump fakes, gets it out. Wagner for three. Off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Nicholson. And I tell you, Danny Wagner, not her night so far tonight, but she's been on a heater lately.
Yeah, she has. That was a real good look for her.
Riley Walsh sets up the offense down on the other end of the floor for the Skylights. She works it over to the wing. As Northern swings it around, Hovey has it on the block. They swing it around again. Walsh has it. Walsh works it back over to Lorton. Now Hovey. The Skylights continue to swing around. Goldhahn's three is swatted straight out of bounds by Christine Denny. She's throwing a block party, and we're all invited.
That time Carroll was in their zone. They haven't played zone the first time they've done it. Northern moved the ball pretty well, but that was a very active zone by Carroll.
Emma Madsen will check in for the Saints. She'll give Wagner a break, and Madsen as the games go on, she's played more and more valuable minutes.
Effective. I think she's been very effective.
Inbounding the ball is Morgan Mason for the Skylights. She gets it up to Lorton. Lorton at the top of the key. 2 on the shot clock. She drives, throws up a prayer, and banks it in. Big bucket there for the Skylights. That's their first bucket in 6.5 minutes.
Kenya Lorton, tough shot.
It'll be Jaden Lyman down to the other end of the court for the Saints. She looks inside for Denny. Pass tip back out, and Lyman has it again. Lyman back to Denny. Denny works towards the middle. She drives in. Nice backdoor pass for McDermott. McDermott pulls it back outside, picks up her dribble, and gets it over to Madsen. Madsen, top of the key. 7 on the shot clock for the Saints. Denny with it on the elbow. She gets out McDermott. Jab step. She's got to put one up. Runner for McDermott. No good. Tipped around. Getting the offensive board is Emma Madsen. She gets out to Denny. Denny to Lyman. Lyman thinks about the 3 instead. Will set up the offense. Coach Sayers calls out a play from the bench. Lyman goes to Toth on the elbow. Toth out to Madsen. Madsen pump fakes from 3, drives in, and a blocking foul called on. Looks like they will be getting Morgan Mason for that one.
And that's the first foul on Northern for the quarter. They just don't foul a lot.
Inbounding the ball, it's Jaden Lyman. She gets it into Madsen. Madsen works top of the key. Goes to Lyman, 15 on the shot for the Saints. Lyman drives, floater, no good. Rebounded that time by Hovde. Hovde gets the outlet pass over to Lorton. Lorton gives it to Mason, and Mason is the one who will be taking the ball up the court for the Skylights. Morgan Mason picked up by McDermott. 17 on the shot clock, 30 seconds on the game clock. Baseline jumper up, and that one is good by Riley Kerr. And just like that, it's cut back to a 5-point Carroll lead, 13-8. 21 seconds left in the first quarter, and we'll see what kind of look the Saints pull together here at the end of this first. Jaden Lyman, guarded by Mason at the top of the key, works over to the right wing, gets it over to Madsen. Madsen, top of the key, 8 seconds on the clock now. Lyman has it. Clock now at 5. Lyman takes it off the dribble into the key. Floater goes up, no good. Toth can't pull down the rebound, and that'll run out the clock in the first quarter as the Saints lead 13-8 on the Capital Collision Center scoreboard. We'll have second quarter action coming up next here on Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com. Second quarter action here. Daniel Sally and Coach Gary Turcotte bringing you Saints basketball here on your home for the Saints. Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com. As it'll be Taylor Salonen inbounding the ball to start off the quarter. 13-8, the Saints lead. 11 of those points coming from Sienna Swanek, who takes it up and runs the point for the Saints now. Swanek passed it back out to Wagner. Wagner looks for Salonen. Salonen on the elbow, gets it out. Lyman, entry pass. Toth posts up, spin move, and that one's good. Nice little finish there by Emerald Toth as she gets the 2, 15-8. The Saints strike first in the second quarter. Running point again for MSU-Northern is Kenya Lorton, junior out of Chehalis, Washington. She passed it over to Morgan Mason. Mason gets by Lyman, picks up her dribble, gets it over the top to Kerr. Kerr kicks it out. With it is Riley Kerr. Back out to Kenya Lorton. Lorton picks up her dribble. Baseline, it's Riley Kerr, guarded by Salonen. She looks across the middle. Here's a drive, up and under. Shot, no good. Blocked by Salonen, stolen by Swanek, and a foul quickly called right after the rebound. I believe they got Mason there. Lyman will take the ball up the court for the Saints now. It's Lyman, Salonen, Toth, Swanek, and I believe Wagner. Can't really see. She makes her way across the zone. It is Wagner on the court now for the Saints. Lyman takes the corner three off the back rim. No good. Rebounded by Toth. Toth puts it on the ground in the post. Up with her left off the glass, and that one's good. Nice finish by Emerald Toth.
Wow.
Nice little 4-0 run by Emerald.
Very nice, Emerald. Just so much more assertive.
We got to pause and play here. I believe Peyton Kerr. Looks like her back's bothering her maybe.
The back, or she got the wind knocked out of her.
Something along those lines. She's going to check out. We're hoping she'll be all right. And checking in, it'll be Alex Goldhahn re-entering for the Skylights.
Now, I have seen Alex Goldhahn play very well.
She's had 2 good games against the Saints this year, both up in Havre. Inbounding the ball, it's Riley Walsh. Goldhahn will take it up. Saints line up like they're going to press, but pull it back towards the half court. Goldhahn up the court. He works towards the wing, hands it off. With it is Lorton. Lorton's guarded by Swanek. Passed it back to the wing. Goldhahn has it again. Shot clock down to 13 seconds. In they go. Lorton has it. Goes by Swanek. Puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebounded by Swanek. Swanek pushes it up the floor for the Saints. Swanek pulls up from the free throw line. No good. Rebounded by the Saints, though. Pulling it down is Salonen. Salonen losing control. We got a loose ball possession arrow. We'll give it back to Northern.
Well, a lot of contact there. I mean, she got beat up a couple of times.
Salonen toughing out and going to the ground, holding on to the ball, but a jump ball will not favor the Saints this time. 8 minutes, 12 seconds left in the first half. Fresh shot clock for the Skylights as they take it up the court. Riley Walsh handling the point duties right now for Northern. She works her way to the near side. Walsh, of course, filling in the point guard position in the absence of Mackenzie Gunter. Over the top is the pass. Hovde with its spin move, and she knocks it down. Nice move by Hovde on top.
Very nice. She was double teamed. I can't believe she got that off even, let alone make it.
Jaden Lyman will take it up again for the Saints. Lyman works it to the top. Danny Wagner. Wagner picked up in the half court. She goes back to Lyman. Lyman to Swanek. Swanek works towards the far wing. Picks up her dribble. Swanek, of course, leading the Saints with 11 points. Salonen on the elbow has it. Gets it out to Wagner. A little zone defense looks like from the Skylights as Wagner drives. Puts one up from the left block. Puts it off the glass, and it's no good. Rebound by the Skylights, and they take it up the court once again. It's Walsh goes to Goldhahn. Now Goldhahn has it top of the key back to Walsh. Walsh looks to drive. Picks up her dribble, goes to the top to Goldhahn. Goldhahn takes a pull-up jumper, and that one's good. Alex Goldhahn for 2. 17-12, the Saints lead is back to 5 points.
Daniel, Northern lives and dies with their 1-2-2 matchup zone. It is very effective. They do a real good job of matching up. I'm not sure just what their rules are, but it's pretty effective.
Jaden Lyman at the top of the offense. Gets it over to the wing to Swanek. Swanek thinks about another 3. She gets it over to Wagner. Wagner on the wing, picks up her dribble, goes to Salonen. Salonen for 3. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, Toth. Toth out to Lyman, and Lyman will set it up for the Saints. Lyman calls the play. Here comes the screen from Toth. Lyman gets it over to Wagner. Wagner near side, inside to Toth. Toth will post up. Another spin move, and Toth is fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. As Emerald Toth gets ready to shoot her free throws. Don't forget that Carroll Basketball is brought to you by your Montana Toyota dealers. John Lagerquist, Realtor with Century 21. To experience relentless excellence in your real estate transactions, call John Lagerquist at Century 21. Rutgers Furniture, make the quality choice for your home at Rutgers Furniture. And First Community Bank, working together for you. First free throw up and good from Toth. She'll have a chance to hit another one here as she steps to the stripe. Gets the ball back from the official. Takes her dribbles. Puts up the second free throw and knocks it down. Emerald Toth makes them both, and the Saints lead is back to 7. 19-12 on the Capital Collision Center scoreboard. Northern will take it back up. Running the point again is Riley Walsh. Walsh gets a screen up high from Riley Kerr. They look inside for Hovde. Hovde knocks it back, and gets fouled on the ground. It'll be MSU-Northern ball inbounding from the baseline.
And Carroll, once again, really wants to deny Hovde catches. She's pretty good down there. She's real strong. Only about 6 foot, but very strong girl, and she can score down at that block.
The Skylights will inbound. As they look for Goldhahn, it's stolen by Lyman out of thin air. Here comes Lyman up the court, bounce pass to Wagner. Wagner will be called for a foul there.
No.
And I don't know, it looked like 2 steps.
Oh, that I just hate to see him take away a great play like that with a silly call.
Bounce pass came in for Wagner. She caught it mid-stride, took her 2 steps, put it off the glass, and it would have been 2 points for Danny.
And a 1. I think it was an and 1. I mean, she got fouled on top of it.
Inbounding the ball, the Skylights, as they'll get it back. Walsh will take it up the court for Northern. Walsh picked up by Lyman. She hands it off to Goldhahn. Goldhahn looks to drive in, picks it up, and that's a charge. Great job by Jaden Lyman positioning herself as Goldhahn got ready for the step-through move and rolled right into Lyman.
She really anticipated that move. Goldhahn's got some skills. I mean, like you said, she's played against us very well twice.
It'll be Carroll basketball taking it up the court. It's Jaden Lyman. Lyman picked up by Walsh. Screen from Garrett's. Lyman pull-up jumper, and that one's good. Jaden Lyman taking advantage of the screen and knocking it down, and it's back to a 9-point lead, matching the game high for the Saints. 21-12 this time with 5:25 remaining in the second quarter. Walsh.
Well, you could just see how Northern just takes the air out of the ball, controls the tempo. I mean, and they're not even looking to do much till the shot clocks come down.
Goldhahn has it now on the elbow. Skylight swinging around. It's Nicholson. Denied baseline by Denny. She gets it back out to the top. Inside they go to Goldhahn. Goldhahn off the glass and good for 2. Timeout called by Chris Moat, and we'll see what kind of timeout this ends up being. Immediate timeout. We'll take it as well. 21-14, the Saints lead. 5 minutes left in the second quarter. We're back in 60 seconds on Rewind 94.9. Back from the timeout, Daniel Sally joined by the Hall of Famer Coach Gary Turcotte as the Saints lead the Skylights 21-14 on the Capital Collision Center scoreboard. And a pretty up and down performance so far from Carroll. They've had spurts where they've been great and spurts where not so much.
It's hard to play great basketball against a team that just takes the air out of the ball like they do. They come down and they kind of just pass the ball around and set some screens, but they're not really looking to do anything, Daniel, till about 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And then they kind of meander around.
Saints with the ball out of the timeout. It'll be Camden Hilborn back in the game for the first time since the 9:30 mark. She got those 2 quick fouls early in the game, but she's back now. Swanek with it at the top of the key goes to Denny. Denny outside, looks to drive, looking for Hilborn, instead goes up to Swanek. 7 on the shot clock. Denny with it on the wing. She takes it in on the drive, puts it up with her left, no good. Rebounded by, a whole bunch of people. Jump ball though, possession arrow will favor the Saints. And you know, I know they keep the possession arrow over there, but the Saints, I guess the Saints take it out of the timeout. I was thinking that was the quarter break. Danny Wagner gets it. 3-pointer up from the inbound. No good. The offensive rebound. Garrett, she puts it up and just misjudged where the rim was that time as her shot falls a little short. And the Skylights will rebound and get it up the court again. With it now is Walsh. Walsh calls the play. Picked up at the top of the key by Swanek. Swanek. Goldhahn with it now. She goes from the wing, drives, rebounded by Garrett. Missed opportunity there for the Skylights. With it again are the Saints. Ooh. Swanek takes it up. Wagner has it, looks inside, finds Denny. Nice backdoor find from Denny. Mishandled by Maddie Garrett. Fumbled away, and Northern has it again. Running it up the court for the Skylights, it's Lorton. and the Skylights kick it out and set up the offense now. With it is Riley Walsh, and that's a bucket there from Nicholson. That's her first bucket of the game, and she's someone you don't want to see get going if you're the Saints.
You know, she is a very talented girl. Hasn't played much for a while. She's been injured.
Hilborn takes it up the court, picks up her dribble, gets it out to Denny. Denny to Wagner now. Wagner working to the top of the key. Passes it out to Swanek. Swanek back to Hilborn inside. Denny on the elbow. Looks for Garrett's in the high-low. It gets tipped out. 5 on the shot clock now for the Saints. Denny's got to put one up as she takes it out. Drives back in. Runner. And that's a nice look for Denny with the shot clock expiring, but it hits off the glass. Unfriendly roll off the rim, and the Skylights get the rebound and get it up the floor once again. Riley Walsh going to Nicholson on the elbow. Nicholson turns around, puts up a jumper. Nice contest from behind by Camden Hilborn. Rebounded by Swanek. Swanek pushes it up the court, finds Wagner. Open look for 3. And that one's no good from Danny Wagner. Rebounded by the Skylights. It's Alex Goldhahn pulling it down. Goldhahn. Cross center court she goes. She works it over to the wing. Riley Walsh has it. Walsh kicks it out. Now Nicholson. Nicholson over to the top of the key. With it is Goldhahn. Goldhahn. The Skylights continue to swing it around. Pull-up jumper from Walsh. No good. Rebounded by Denny. Denny outlet pass to Hilborn. Hilborn pushes it up the floor now for the Saints. Hilborn back to Swanek. Back to Hilborn for 3. Off the rim. No good. Long offensive rebound by Christine Denny, but she can't save it from going out of bounds. She falls into some friendly fans in the front row, and it'll go back to the Skylights. It'll be Northern ball. 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Carroll leading 21-16.
Carroll's getting a lot of good looks from the 3, but they are not going down. I mean, Danny Wagner is one of the best three-point shooters in the conference, and she just hasn't been able to buy one.
And she's been one of the hottest players in the conference.
Yeah, and those are good looks she's getting.
Taking it up the court for the Lights, it's Riley Walsh. Walsh looks to the corner. Offensive foul called on Hovde. Moving screen, I believe.
And that might be 2 on Hovde.
It is. It is 2 on Hovde.
They do not have an adequate sub for her.
Camden Hilborn will take it up the court for the Saints. Running point. She calls the play, gets it to Denny. Denny at the top of the key. Denny rolls it over to Swanek, now to Wagner. Wagner in the corner, back to Swanek. The Saints continue to pass it around. Hilborn to Denny. Denny now to Sienna Swanek. Swanek working to the top of the key. Picks up her dribble, goes to Hilborn. Hilborn drives baseline. Dump pass. Denny goes up with it. It's blocked. Toth gets it, and her shot hits off the rim. They didn't refresh the shot clock there, but that ball hit the rim. But it's not going to matter because it's out of bounds. Last touched by the Saints. Northern will get it right back.
Well, and then Carroll, when they get the ball inside, they're kind of fumbling it around now. They've got the ball in there, but they just haven't been able to finish in there. That's 4 or 5 here lately that they've had the ball where they should score it.
Taking it up the court is Walsh. Walsh over to Goldhahn on the wing. The Skylights continue to swing it around at the top of the key. 1:08 left here in the second quarter. Stolen is the entry pass by Emerald Toth. Toth gets it out of Swanek, and Swanek pushes in transition. She finds Hilborn. Hilborn off the screen. Pass it off to Denny. Denny posting up, spin move off the glass, and it's good. Christine Denny off the glass for 2, and that'll give the Saints back a 7-point lead, 23-16. Goldhahn running point again for the Skylights. Goldhahn works to the far side. She continues to pass that ball around. With it is Walsh again. Walsh playing a lot of point tonight for MSU-Northern. She goes inside. Riley Kerr drives, and she is fouled as she goes up for a shot there near the baseline.
I don't know, was she shooting? Do you think she'll give her the shot?
I think they'll give her the shot, and it looks like they will.
Yeah. That was a bad foul by Camden. Or by, actually.
Christine, I think. No, they got Sienna on
Sienna,
that one. Gosh,
yeah.
They were all right there in the mix. Riley Kerr steps to the line, and as she misses her first, don't forget Carroll Basketball is brought to you by Placer Motors. Your Helena Subaru dealers, Placer Motors, family owned for over 75 years. Capital Collision Center. Montana State law says it's your vehicle and your choice where to have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. And Furniture Showroom. Why pay more? Every day is a great day to buy new home furnishings at Furniture Showroom. Now, Kerr's second free throw is good.
Carroll
she
should
splits
just
the pair.
Work the clock here.
About 21 and a half seconds on the game clock and 21 on the shot clock.
Yeah, that was not good.
Pull-up jumper by Sienna Swanek hits off the rim. Clock down to 12 seconds now. 10 seconds now. Taking it up, it's Goldhahn. Now Walsh with it. She goes inside. Posting up for the Skylights. It's a shot no good from Jada Nicholson, rebounded by Denny, and before she has the time to get up, a half-court shot. The clock expires. A low-scoring first half for both teams, but at the half, your score is Carroll College 23, MSU-Northern 17. When we come back, we will have the Carroll Halftime Show, brought to you by Kevin Dunn and Terry White, financial advisors at Dunn Financial Solutions, as Coach Turcotte and I will take a look at the stats, give some analysis, take a look ahead at the second half, maybe even preview Game 2 tonight. Who knows? We'll see what we have time for. You're listening to Carroll Basketball here on Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com. Daniel Sally joined by Coach Gary Turcotte here inside the Cochran Insurance broadcast booth. As at halftime, your score on the Capital Collision Center scoreboard, it's Carroll College 23 and the Skylights of MSU Northern 17. We'll go ahead and look at the stats right now. And for the Saints, not the best shooting night. 9 of 28 from the field, shooting 32%. MSU Northern 8 of 23, shooting 34% from 3. MSU Northern only taking 2 3-pointers. They're 0 for 2. Carroll taking 11. They're 3 of 11. That comes out to 27%. And for, like I said earlier, those 3-pointers and whatever else is made tonight by each Carroll team, those are sponsored by Jolene Lloyd, Century 21. She'll be donating money to both the SAA and Family Promise of Greater Helena. So great thing that Jolene's doing. Looking at the rebounding battle, Carroll with 7 first-half offensive rebounds. So that trend continues for them, and they're leading the rebounding battle in total 20-13. So a good rebounding half for Coach Sayers and her team. 7 turnovers each by both teams. And individual numbers, Sienna Swanwick leading all scores with 11. She's also got 5 rebounds. Alex Goldhahn with 4 leading the Skylights, tied with Sydney Hovde. Looking at some other players for the Saints, Emerald Toth having a nice senior night with 6 points, 2 from Garrett's, 2 from Denny, 2 from Lyman, and that's about all I got. And for the Skylights, we got, like I said, 4 from Hovde and Goldhahn, 3 from Riley Kerr, 2 from Haley Nicholson, and 2 from Kenya Lorton. Coach Turcotte, it's been a low-scoring first half, really. Both teams struggling out of the gate offensively.
Well, I think Coach Moet, he knows that with the injuries that he's had, they're a little undermanned, and so he's just slowing the game down. I mean, it is slow. But one thing they do, they hustle back on defense, so Carroll hasn't been able to get any transition buckets on them. They do hustle back on defense, but then offensively, they run that shot clock down every time. And then they're going to kind of just wait for you to break down, and then they're going to try to get a shot off, and hopefully that gets you to foul them, and they can get to the free throw line, and that's kind of how they win, because at the other end they very rarely foul. And then I think the thing that's bothered Carroll is the matchup zone that Coach Mowat is using. I mean, it's not a great zone, but it's pretty good.
And as we look at the stat sheet, is there anything that jumps off the page at you, Coach?
Just Carroll is, I think they missed like 7 or 8 threes in a row. After Sienna started the ball game, and she got us going, and then after that, very few good looks. Even when they had good looks, they missed them. And then when Carroll got the ball inside, they fumbled it away. So it was a very frustrating half for Carroll at the offensive end.
And one thing that's a trend in tonight's game so far, Danny Wagner with 0 points. She's been playing some of her best ball of the season over the last couple of games, but she's 0 for 5 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3, and a lot of those have been really good looks for Danny.
They have been. They're just such a different feel about the game tonight after last night, which was for all the marbles.
And last night was such a high-scoring first half.
And the tempo and the athleticism and the electricity. This is a kind of it's a flat half. Sometimes Northern can get you to do that by the way they control the tempo, but you got to win in a lot of different ways, Daniel. You don't always have your A game. You don't always make your threes, and you still got to find a way to win. You got to grind it out.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break, but when we come back, we'll continue to talk a little bit about the first half, take a look at the second half, all that and many more as you're listening to the Carroll Halftime Show, brought to you by Kevin Dunn and Terry White, financial advisors at Dunn Financial Solutions. Carroll in the lead, 23-17 here on your home for the Saints, Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com.
especially when you have to play back-to-back. So the first 3 minutes of this is going to be critical. If Carroll comes out and lets Northern get going, anything could happen. I mean, Northern could upset them. But if Carroll takes care of business right off the bat, gets going the first 3 minutes, it'll be a real uphill battle for Northern.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take one more break, but when we come back, we'll be bringing you second half action as it's game one of the Frontier Conference doubleheader tonight between MSU Northern and Carroll College, and we have it all for you right we get ready to start the third quarter here in the PE Center. Skylights will inbound the ball. It'll be Walsh taking it up the court. Skylights flipping sides, working right to left now. Walsh picked up by Swanek in the half court. She goes to the wing. With it is Peyton Kerr. Kerr gets by Hilborn, kicks it outside. Skylights continue to swing the ball around. Kerr has it again on the far wing. Kerr works towards the middle, drives in, puts up a runner in the middle of the zone, tipped out, and that's an offensive rebound, longly pulled down by Walsh. Walsh finds a backdoor cutter. It's Riley Kerr. Riley Kerr with a reverse lip. No good. Good defense by Toth. Hovde gets a rebound. She puts it up, and then her shot is missed. Rebounded by Toth and Wagner simultaneously. Toth ends up taking it. Throw now, led pass, and Hilborn will get it up the floor for the Saints. Hilborn gets it over to Swanek. Swanek passed it over to the wing. Denny has it now. She goes to the top of the key. Out to Hilborn for three. Got it! Camden Hilborn from the corner, and that's a big shot for the Saints to start off this second half.
Well, Carroll in their zone now, coming out in their 1-1-3.
Skylights swinging around with it as Walsh back at the top of the key. She passed it over to the far side. Here's a drive and up and under shot there from Peyton Kerr. She knocks it down for two, 26-19. It's back to a 7-point Carroll lead. Hilborn up the court goes to Swanek. Swanek at the top of the key, back to Hilborn. Hilborn over to Denny. Denny from the elbow. And she gets the roll back rim and sat in midair for about 2 seconds, it seemed like. And she finally gets it to go down. Nice shot there from Christine Denny.
Good touch.
And I've noticed Christine Denny's taken some time to get going tonight. She came off the bench for Salonen to start for senior day, but Denny's finding her groove as this game goes along.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes that can goof you up if you're used to starting and all of a sudden you don't. I thought it did bother Christine a little bit that first half.
Inbounding the ball from the sideline is the Skylights. With it is Goldhahn. Goldhahn takes the three from the near wing, no good. Danny Wagner times it out the jump and pulls down the defensive rebound, I should say. She gets it out to Hilborn. Hilborn goes to Wagner. Wagner to Swanek in the corner, and Swanek fumbles the pass. Came in a little hot, and she tips it out of bounds. Last touch by the Saints. The Skylights will have it back.
Well, Sienna had a great first half. That's especially that first quarter. Looked to see her get going again.
11 points, leading all scorers is Sienna Swanek. Walsh takes it up the court, works it over to the side as they swing it around, and that's a charge. Camden Hilborn getting in the way of Goldhahn and getting the contact, and that's an offensive foul. Nice job by Camden Hilborn. She's got some of the fastest feet playing defense I've ever seen.
And she's fearless and courageous.
Fearless is right. Gosh, she had a black eye for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Danny Wagner, top of the key. Works it towards the far side of the court. Now goes to the top. With it is Denny. Denny takes the dribble, drives in, kicks it out. It's Hilborn with it now. She goes baseline, kicks it out. Wagner for three. Off the rim, no good, and Wagner just can't get it going. Offensive rebound. Swanek puts it right back in for two. And Sienna Swanek's having a night. She's got 13 as the Saints take another double-digit lead, 30-19 here in the third quarter. Swanek picking up on defense, guarding Walsh. Walsh throws it across the court. It's tipped out by Peyton Kerr, out of bounds, and that's another turnover by the Skylights. The Saints will get it back with an 11-point lead, and there are those first 3 minutes of this second half paying off for the Saints.
Yeah, it's big. It's you're setting the tone.
Camden Hilborn gets it up the floor for Carroll. Denny has it. She gets it back to Hilborn. I believe they'll get Hovde there for a push-off on Emerald Toth as they're going toe-to-toe there.
That is her third. And they really depend on her. She'll have to come out now.
And I believe they'll send Nicholson in to play the 5 for her, so that'll be a little smaller lineup. Nicholson usually seen playing the 4.
And Nicholson is capable of, if she's healthy.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Inbounding the ball, it's Hilborn. She goes to the corner. With it is Wagner. Wagner drives in with her right off the glass, and there's Danny Wagner's first bucket of the game, and a nice job by her to assert herself and put it up.
Yeah, and rather than take those threes, then attack the rim. Get something going.
High percentage look.
Yeah.
Taking it up the court for the Saints, for the Skylights, it's Walsh again. Walsh gets it over to Peyton Kerr. Kerr to the wing. Back up top to Walsh. Walsh to Nicholson. Nicholson back to Walsh. Walsh drives in, picked up by Swan. She goes out to Goldhahn for three. Goldhahn's three is no good. Tip, safe from going out of bounds by Riley Kerr, and the Skylights have it again. Walsh on the near wing with the ball. She swings it around. Here's a drive. Runner up from Peyton Kerr, no good. Long rebound, and will it go out of bounds? It will not. Nicholson saves it. She gets it out to Peyton Kerr. Her three's no good. Finally, Hilborn pulls down the rebound, and now the Saints will have it back once again. Camden Hilborn pushing it up the floor for Carroll. She goes over to Wagner. Wagner on the wing. Now Denny. Denny outside. Swanek has it now. Pass it to the top to Hilborn. To Denny again she goes. Denny looking over the top. Instead she passes it back out to Swanek. Swanek across to Wagner. Wagner to Hilborn for three. That's off the rim. No good. Tipped out. Long rebound by Wagner. Wagner drives in, gets it into Denny. Denny out to Swanek. Open look for three from Swanek, and she could not miss Gary Turcotte. Let me tell you, Sienna Swanek buries it, and that's a 16-point lead now for the Saints, a game high. Walsh running point again. She's picked up in the half court by Swanek. Walsh works to the far wing. She passes it out to Kerr. Peyton Kerr for three. Off the rim, no good. Rebound by, nobody, because the foul is called as Toth went for it. It got tipped around, and that foul is called on the Skylights. That's on Riley Kerr, and that's her first.
Daniel, Carroll's zone is bothering Northern. The only thing Northern has been able to get some offensive rebounds to keep them alive, but they're not getting great looks. But the looks that they're getting, they're not making. The zone has been a factor here to start the second half.
Camden Hilborn taking it to the other end of the court for the Saints. She gets Denny on the elbow. Denny takes her dribble, gets it outside as the Saints continue to swing it around. It's Wagner now. Wagner top of the key. Passes it back to Swanek. Swanek up top to Denny again. Denny takes it off the dribble, pulls it back and gives it to Wagner. Wagner inside to Toth. Toth, nice eye, backdoor pass, 3-point from the corner, and Hilborn buries it.
Great pass, Toth.
And everyone closing on Toth, and she just whipped it out to Hilborn.
Great
and Hilborn
pass.
was
Just
unguarded.
Right in the shooting pocket, perfect pass.
38-19, the Saints lead by 19, doubling up the Skylights as we're past the halfway point of the third quarter, and the Skylights haven't passed 20 points. Christine Denny gets a steal on the other end. Backdoor pass to Swanek off the glass, and that one's good. And that's a 21-point lead for the Saints, 40-19 with 4:15 left here in the third. And what a performance out of the gate from halftime for the Saints. A timeout called by Chris Mowat. That'll be switched to a media timeout. So we'll take a break as well. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Saints lead 40-19 here on Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com. Back from the timeout, Daniel Sally joined by the Hall of Famer, Coach Gary Turcotte. And with 4:10 left in the third quarter, Coach, the Saints with a commanding 40-19 lead.
Well, they had a really nice run. It started with their defense, basically. They got stops. They came down. They were really patient with their offense. They got some inside buckets. They got some inside-outside threes. Just a real nice span of basketball there by the Saints.
And like I mentioned, defense is strong suit right now for Carroll. They've held the Skylights to under 20 points up to this point in the game. We'll see how they can continue that, as out of the timeout, the Skylights take it up the court. With it running point is Morgan Mason. Mason finds backdoor Nicholson. Nicholson works it out to the corner. Pass it back up top. Now backdoor cut, it's Riley Kerr. She gets the entry pass, and Kerr will be fouled on the ground. That time it's called on Christine Denny, and I believe that's Christine Denny's first. And another media timeout called, so we'll take another break. Why not? 40-19, the Saints lead. 3:57 left in the third quarter. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Rewind 94.9. Back from the timeout, Daniel Sally joined by the Hall of Famer, Coach Gary Turcotte. 40-19, the Saints with a commanding lead here. 3:57 left in the third quarter, and it's been an outstanding third quarter by this Carroll Saints team as the Skylights will inbound from the baseline. Over the top, the pass goes to Riley Kerr, and she'll set up the offense for the Skylights. She passed it over to the corner. It's Kenya Lorton. Lorton, outside she goes. Mason with it back to Lorton. Swing it around to the baseline. Nicholson puts up a jumper from the baseline, no good. And Swanek is there with nobody around her to pull down the board. Swanek pushes it in transition up the court for the Saints. To the corner she goes to Wagner. Wagner to Hilborn, back to Wagner. Open look for three from Wagner. And that one's off the rim. And they're just not falling. Sometimes it's not your night, Coach Turcotte, and that's.
But that was a good look there. That really was a good look.
She hasn't had any bad looks tonight.
No.
That's too bad, but sometimes you just cool down a little bit. Christine Denny with it. Pass it over to the far wing. With it is Toth. Toth goes to the top to Hilborn, out to Denny for 3. Denny's got it. Christine Denny from downtown. And just like that, the Carroll lead is up to 24 points. 43-19. The Skylights have scored 2 points. They've been outscored 17-2 in this third quarter.
This 1-1-3 zone that Carroll's been running has caused them. So there's another
steal. Swanek pulls it down. It's a 3-on-1 for the Saints. Swanek instead gets it back to the fourth person on the break. It's Wagner. Now Hilborn she finds. Hilborn for 3. Got it! Camden Hilborn buries it from the corner, and it's just been a magnificent third quarter.
I think Coach Mowat has got to get out of the zone, and it's a really good zone. Carroll just hot. I think he's going to have to play man-to-man. I mean, Carroll's just shooting it too good. They're getting catch and shoots for wide open shots.
30-second timeout, and Coach, I tell you, when this Carroll team gets going shooting the ball like this, the defense is always there. Yeah. That's the one thing that's a constant. But when they get shooting the ball like this, I mean, they can be just about anyone you throw in their way.
Well, you shoot the ball well, Daniel, when you pass the ball well.
Yes.
And when you're passing as well as they are, you're really getting good looks. And even though Danny isn't making them like she normally does, the rest of the girls are getting such good looks.
Setting everyone up nice.
Yeah. So
46-19. Carroll on a 23-2 run to start out the second half. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the third quarter. It's 46-19 in favor of the Saints. Running point is Morgan Mason out of the break. Mason, guarded by Hilborn, gets her out, kicks out, three-pointer from Peyton Kerr. That's no good off the rim. And that was a nice look from Northern, probably their best of the half. Swanek gets the rebound, finds it. Denny up the court in transition, and Denny will pull it back. She goes inside. Toth posting up, spin move, left hook off the glass, no good. Nice look from Toth there. Couldn't get it to fall.
Yep.
46-19. Northern pushing it up the court again. Kenya Lorton has it on the near side. She works it to the top. Morgan Mason now with the ball. She goes baseline. Nicholson outside. Three-pointer from Lorton. That one's no good. And Northern just struggling to knock down the outside shot.
That was a pretty good look
by Hilborn.
That was a pretty good look they had there.
Hilborn pushes it. Swanek open look from the corner for 3, and she banks it in.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to see the physics behind that, because she's from the corner, and she kisses it off that top corner of the box there.
Coach Mott's going, oh, no, I can't believe it. I've seen it all now.
And the bench is excited. That's the best part, seeing the bench getting rowdy. Defensive foul, hand check. I think they get Hilborn. No, Swanek getting called for that one. And now it's all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, it's a 26-2 run for the Saints to start off the second half. And they lead by 30, 49-19. It was just 23-17, about 8.5 minutes ago.
6-point lead at halftime.
And they have let loose here in this second half. Christine Denny tips out the inbounds pass and knocks it to Swanek. Nice defense. They find Hilborn in transition up the court. Hilborn rips it out to Wagner on the wing, and she'll set up the offense. Wagner to Swanek, now to Hilborn again. Hilborn for 3. And they will not have another this time, as it's rebounded by the Skylights. 49-19, Carroll still leading. And Hilborn tips the pass out of bounds down on the other end. So the Skylights will keep the ball in inbound from the near side right in front of the bench here.
And I think Coach Sayers, the last couple of times, would like to see a few more passes.
Saints, a couple of heat check threes.
Yeah.
Northern inbounds the ball. It's Lorton, near side. Finds the corner. It's a three-pointer from Mason. No good. Long rebound, Hilborn. And Hilborn pushed it up, gets it to Wagner. Wagner drives off the glass, and that's an easy 2 for Danny Wagner. Didn't need more than one pass that time, Coach.
No.
51-19.
It's good to see the girls get out and run like this, Daniel.
They're having some fun,
really get out and run, because they are athletic enough to do it.
Taking it up the court, it's Mason. Mason working to the side, and a blocking foul called on Camden Hilborn, trying to cut off the high pick there, and Mason ran into her, and they got Hilborn for a block. Lyman and McDermott will check in for the Saints, and Hilborn and Swanek will get what I would refer to as a well-deserved break as they make their way to the bench, and they get a nice ovation from the crowd here at the PE Center. Inbounding the ball, it'll be Peyton Kerr. Kerr, right in front of us, gets it up to Nicholson. Nicholson, top of the key. And that time,
I think that was a block.
Yeah.
They got Danny Wagner, and that was a block.
Wagner tried to step in and take the charge there on a little spin move at the top of the key. And I was trying to see what the call was, and he didn't give the normal block signal there.
Well, we talked about mechanics, and it's the referee's mechanics. What that means, Daniel, is him giving the signal so that everybody in the gym knows
it's the fundamentals.
And they work on their mechanics, and they talk about their mechanics. And they'll get marked down when they don't have good mechanics.
Well, if we're talking about the refs being fundamentally sound, I want them to be the Tim Duncan of referees. That's what I want. At the free throw line, it's Hovde after she draws the foul, puts up her first, and that one's good. And before her second, just a reminder that Carroll basketball is brought to you in part by Placer Motors, your Helena Subaru dealers. Placer Motors, family-owned for over 75 years, and the Overland Express Restaurant and Lounge, an all-American family-style restaurant serving Helena since 1975. Another free throw, good from Hovde. The Skylights get above 20 points. It's 51-21, 30-point Carroll lead. Christine Denny with it on the near wing. Denny to the top to Wagner. Wagner takes a step back, thinks about the three, instead gets it over to McDermott. McDermott to Denny for three. Denny's three is no good, rebounded by Northern. 15 seconds left on the game clock here in the third quarter. 51-21, the Saints in the lead. Northern looking for a good look before the break, and before there's any chance for that, Hovde looks inside at the block and gets fouled by Toth. Hovde will go to the line and shoot two. And as she does that, go ahead and get these in while I have the chance. Carroll basketball brought to you in part by Eagle Tire and Auto Service, understanding customer needs yesterday, today, and every day across from Eagle Loop Express on North Montana. Mattress Firm, Montana's largest Tempur-Pedic retailer where it's easy to get a great night's sleep. And D.A. Davidson and Company, believing in hands-on investing in students and financial education each year since 1985. First free throw from Hovde, no good. Her second one, she puts it up and knocks it down, so she splits the pair, 51-22. 6 seconds left. Carroll will play for the last shot. Taking it up is Lyman. Lyman drives, kicks to McDermott. McDermott baseline jumper at the horn. No good off the rim. Your score after three, Carroll College 51, the Skylights 22. We'll be back in 60 seconds for fourth quarter action here. You're listening to Carroll Basketball on Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com. Back from the timeout, Daniel Sally joined by the Hall of Famer, Coach Gary Turcotte, as we get ready for fourth quarter action here in the PE Center. 51-22, the Saints lead the Skylights in what was the third quarter where the Saints outscore the Skylights 28-5. They take the floor from the timeout. It's McDermott, Garretts, Madsen, Salonen, and Lyman, second unit on the court for the Saints. Lyman looks to get it in to McDermott. It's stolen this time by the Skylights. Morgan Mason with it. And now Lyman goes to the other end, and they get her for a block there as Mason tries to go up. And Lyman takes a hard fall there, a little slow to get up.
Boy, she got hit hard.
No foul to show for it, or at least no offensive foul to show for it. Lyman will get called for her second personal of the ballgame. 51-22. Saints still well in the driver's seat. 9:43 left. Shot up, and that one is good from Mason. And Coach is, we look at these two seniors. Obviously, a lot of basketball left to be played as we go into the conference tournament and national tournament down the stretch of this season. But they're two players who are kind of a unique contrast of each other, where they're both forwards, but they both bring so many different aspects of talent to the team.
Well, they do. And, Taylor here with 4 years, and Emerald, in 1 year, it's amazing how much she's improved.
Madsen takes it inside. picks up her dribble, and she puts that second foot down before she passed it out to Lyman, a traveling violation called on the Saints.
Well, Northern has switched to a man-to-man, and we talked about that, Daniel. And it's going to take Carroll a little while to adjust. You play against zone, then all of a sudden the team goes to man-to-man, and it's a different tempo, it's a different look.
Skylights take it before entry pass to Hovde. She puts up a lay-in. It's no good. She gets her own rebound, goes up again, and her second free throw will not fall, but her second attempt at a jumper, I should say, will not fall. That'll lead her to 2 free throws at the line. And it's really interesting when you look at the Frontier Conference, where there's a lot of transfers. When you're at the NAIA level of basketball, as Hovde makes her first, there's a lot of transfers. And I know Coach Paulson and Coach Sayers both, they're really picky about who they bring in because they want the right people.
Well,
and Emerald Toth is a shining example of that.
Yeah, you can bring in a girl that changes the whole chemistry of your team, and you can have a tough year. Just one girl can. And Emerald she's just been great. The girls love her.
Hovde's her second free throw is good as the Saints work it to the other end. Salonen gets it up, puts it into Garrett's. Garrett's rolls off the block, puts one up. Offensive rebound, Molly McDermott. Now Lyman has it, goes to Madsen at the top of the key. Madsen to Salonen on the wing. Salonen drives, puts it up with her left, no good. Rebound brought down by MSU-Northern, and a foul called on the Saints anyway, so Saints will get it back, and Garrett's is called for her third foul. Taking the ball up for the Skylights will be Morgan Mason. Mason goes to the wing. As the Skylights swing it around. Mason gets the pass back up top. It goes over and back, and that's a backcourt violation on the Skylights. Carroll will get it back, and the defense, no matter who's on the court for the Saints, it does not stop.
Well, that zone, Carroll trapped the corner that time, and Northern kind of panicked there, and there really wasn't a great alley to throw the ball out of there. Caused the over and back.
Jaden Lyman receives the inbounds pass, gets it up the court for the Saints. Guarded by Mason, she goes to Garrett's on the elbow. Garrett's gets it to the top to Madsen. Madsen back to Garrett's. Garrett's thinks about taking the three. Instead, she passes it over to Salonen. Salonen off the dribble, goes to Lyman. Lyman for three. Got it! Jaden Lyman from deep. Big bucket there from Lyman. 54-26, and the Saints lead by 28. Up the court, it's the Skylights. Mason swings it around. Three-pointer up this time from Lorton. It's no good. Rebound, Hovde. Hovde back up with it. Her shot's no good. Off the rim, long board goes to Emma Madsen. Madsen gets it over to Lyman, and Lyman pushes up the court for the Saints. Lyman to Garrett's. Garrett's for three. Off the rim, no good. Nice look from Garrett's. Of course, she looks over at the bench and she gets a more reversal from Coach Sayers.
I think Coach would like him to work the ball a little bit.
Get some practice running the offense.
Yeah.
Taking it up the court, it's Mason. Mason drives by McDermott, and Molly McDermott is called for a block there. Inbounding the ball, it will be Mason. Dead ball, and a sub checking in. Walsh. Give Mason a break.
I wonder when we'll see Genesis Wilkinson, who played so well last night.
Yeah, limited sample size in the first half there, but she was great. Inbounds play. It's caught by Lorton. Lorton drives, puts up the runner from the baseline. It's no good. Rebounded McDermott, outlet pass. Madsen up the court, off the glass, no good, but Madsen draws the foul, and Emma Madsen will shoot two. 54-26. Saints in the driver's seat.
Nice rebound there by Molly McDermott. That's one thing she hasn't done as well this year as I thought she did last year is rebound. I mean, she has got great length and good strong hands, and she should be a force on the boards.
Madsen's free throws up and good. And McDermott, an interesting player. She's such a unique player because she's tall, but she's got guard skills, and it's just there's so many different things you can do with a player like Molly McDermott. Madsen's second free throw is no good, so she splits the pair. Outlet pass by the Skylights. Walsh up the court again. Walsh works it to the near side. Skylights swing it around. Walsh gets it back. Now up to the top to Lorton. Her pass is stolen by Lyman. Lyman has daylight ahead of her. She puts it up off the glass in transition, and that's a nice little lay-in there for the Saints as it's 57-26, and now the Saints with a big lead. 31 points. Saints in the driver's seat. 9 points scored by the Skylights in this half. Foul called as Lyman got the steal, and then there was a little tussle for the ball.
You know, Jaden in that 1-1-3 zone, Daniel, she is a menace. She has great anticipation and then great quickness. And when she makes a break, she gets that flick on the ball, and then she's off to the races.
Erica Nesson and Genesis Wilkinson will check in. Lyman and Garretts will go to the bench, and like you said, Lyman playing a nice game tonight. Just a motor that never stops for Jane Lyman.
And here's a couple of freshmen now that have got a real opportunity to get some major minutes tonight, and you know these are good minutes for these girls.
Nesson running point for the Saints. She goes to Wilkinson. Wilkinson up at the post. She gets it to McDermott. McDermott drives, puts up a runner, and that one is no good. She can't get the roll. A nice look for McDermott there. Rebounded by the Skylights. Outlet, it's Mason taking it up the floor. Morgan Mason works to the far wing, guarded by McDermott. McDermott's length forcing a little pop out there, but the Skylights bring it back down. Petra Sellen has it. She gives it off to Mason. Mason, they swing it around. Sellen has it again. Back to Kerr. Peyton Kerr. Back to Sellen. Sellen's three is up, and that one is off the rim. No good. Offensive rebound by Riley Kerr. Her putback's no good. Taylor Salonen comes down with the rebound, and she is hacked quickly that time by Morgan Mason. Only the third foul on the Skylights and third foul on Mason as well. And that's so one Carroll of those, will take it up the court.
That's one of those real in traffic tough rebounds. That was not an easy rebound for Taylor there.
Erica Nesson taking up the court. Nesson on game days shooting around. She's one of the first players out here every day, so it's nice to see her getting some minutes. Wilkinson drives, nice ball fake, and she goes up with it but can't get it to fall. But gosh, for Wilkinson playing the four to drive up the side of the key right there and kind of fake that pass out. That's skilled.
She knows how to attack the rim. And
Christine Denny will check in and give Salonen a break. And not sure if we're going to see Salonen again in this ball game, but for her senior night, she's getting a nice ovation from the crowd. And looks like Toth will greet her at the bench, and tears in the eyes of both of them. It's a beautiful scene here in the PE Center. Free throw up from Mason. That one's good. She'll shoot one more. Another one from Mason. She gets it back from the ref, puts it up, and it knocks it down, so she makes them both. Saints will get it up the court again. Erica Nesson running point. Gets the pick from Denny. Nesson takes it up, slows it down, picks up her dribble, gets it over to Wilkinson. Wilkinson sends it into Nesson, back outside to McDermott for three. Off the rim, no good. And a foul called. They got Riley Kerr for that one. And now Salonen and Toth will check back in together as seniors. And I imagine next dead ball, they'll make their way back out for the real standing ovation together.
There you go. There you go, Daniel.
And, it's nice when you outscore a team 36-11 in the second half, so you can control the tempo and allow to get these standing ovations and go in and out and however you'd like. Little negotiation here at the scores table. I think they're talking about maybe I honestly have no idea what they're talking about. I imagine something with a media timeout or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But the Saints will inbound from the baseline. Nesson gets it up to the top. Salonen passes it over to Madsen. Madsen now to Toth. Toth to Nesson. Nesson back over to Madsen. Madsen for three. Got it! Emma Madsen from deep. And she's got that left-handed jump shot.
She's very capable girl.
She can knock him down.
She can. She's a very talented girl. And she's going to help him. She already has. Mason, she could help him at national tournament.
Mason drives, kicks, three-pointer up from Riley Kerr, and she buries it. And I agree, when you have Emma Madsen playing good ball, she just adds to the depth of the team so nicely. Madsen gets the inbound. She'll take it up across midcourt for the Saints. Madsen working to the side. She takes it into the key, gets it out to Toth. Toth from the elbow to Nesson now. Nesson goes inside. Salonen will post up. Back out to Nesson.
Oh, she should have shot that.
Yeah, she had a look. They get it back to Salonen. Now to Toth. Toth posts up. Bump fake off the glass. No good. However, Emerald Toth is fouled. She'll go to line to shoot two with 6 seconds on the shot clock. 59-31. immediate timeout called, so we'll take it as well. 59-31, the Saints in the driver's seat. Final 4:26 when we come back here on Rewind 94.9. Back from the timeout, it's Daniel Sally joined by the Hall of Famer Coach Gary Turcotte as the Saints in the driver's seat, 59-31 with 4:26 left in the ballgame. Emerald Toth, one of two seniors, banks in her first free throw. She'll go to the line to shoot her second, and it's all smiles for the Saints right now as Salone and the other senior, along with Toth, McDermott, Nesson, and Madsen take the floor for the Saints. Toth's second free throw's up, and Garrett's will check in. And who is she getting? She'll get Toth, and now a loud ovation for Emerald Toth, hugs all around, and here comes Jen Wilkinson, and I believe she's going to get Taylor Salonen, and she will. Wilkinson gets Salonen, and Salonen and Toth. Very well deserved a standing ovation here in the PE Center as they're greeted with hugs from Coach Sayers. And it just shows how much two players like this, Coach Turcotte, mean to this kind of program.
They mean a lot to the community, those two girls, I'll tell you. Congratulations.
Yeah. Happy senior night to both of them. It was nice to see them both get the start, and I'll tell you, I've gotten to know Taylor going to school with her for 3 years, but Toth, I've gotten to know a little bit from the bus trips and all the different traveling this season, and talking about two just wonderful people.
They really
They're
are.
good players, obviously, and we've talked about that enough as Peyton Kerr's first free throw is up and no good, but
they'll go out into the world, Daniel. They'll be leaders.
Yes.
You know, they'll be role models. They'll be good parents. And the opportunity to play college athletics, and you can't learn in a chemistry class what you learn out here.
No. Kerr makes her second, so she splits the pair. Nesson will get it across midcourt for the Saints. And I think the one thing I keep saying is, we know about how good of players these people are, but you can tell a lot about a person as Nesson catches the backdoor pass from Madsen, puts it up off the glass and gets it in for two. But you can tell when Coach Sayers goes out of her way to speak so highly about these players, you know they just continue to make an impact on not only their own life, but on Coach Sayers' life, on the whole coaching staff's life, and on their teammates. It's just wonderful.
It is wonderful. It's such a great to be able to coach college athletes. It's such a great experience, such a great time in their life because they're not quite adults yet, but they know what they want out of life and they know how to work hard to get it. And you're working with such a high-achieving girl.
Carroll with the ball as Emma Madsen takes it up the court. She loses possession. Jump ball possession arrow will give it back to the Skylights as we get you caught up. 63-32. Of course, going a little bit down the senior day rabbit hole there as well. This clock starts to wind its way down.
Do you remember Erica Nesson scoring a bucket? That was her first bucket, I think.
She got that quick one down there.
That right there. Is that her first one?
Yes, it was.
Of the season, I believe.
It must be. There were those couple games early in the year before conference play that I wasn't there for. Yeah. But
she might have scored.
Substitution checking in now. It'll be Alex Williams checking in, and Williams, a 5'10" redshirt freshman forward out of Las Vegas, Chaparral High School. She'll give Garrett's a break.
Now, interestingly enough, Coach Sayers doesn't believe in scheduling cupcakes. I mean, you won't see them playing some of the traditional teams that other teams play and rack up wins and big scores and high statistics. She just won't do it.
Kerr's first free throw and second are both good.
She just, she wants to play somebody that has a chance to beat her so that she can figure out how to get better.
Erica Nessen taking it up the court for the Saints. She's picked up by Mason at the top of the key. She's double teamed in a trap. Nessen over to Madsen on the wing. Madsen to Wilkinson. Wilkinson elbow drives. Nice backdoor pass to Williams. Williams spin move off the glass.
Very
it
nice.
Doesn't fall.
Real nice pass by Genesis there.
Rebounded by Hovde. She gets it up the court. Kerr drives in, puts up a floater, no good. Rebound brought down by Madsen, and now Madsen gets it out to Nessen. Nessen will take it up the court, and Nessen and Wilkinson have really impressed so far in this game, I think.
Yeah.
Wilkinson hands it off to Madsen. Madsen drives baseline, puts up a floater, and that one's good. Emma Madsen with another two, and the Saints now lead 65-34, and a timeout called by the officials. There's a gold blow-up ball rolling in from the stands.
I see.
and
Gary Wagner. I don't know if it's one of his kids. Gary Wagner, who played quarterback here. Is that one of his kids?
Must be teaching those kids how to throw the rock up there in the stands. Oh, I love Gary Wagner.
Yeah.
It's good to see him in the crowd again tonight. He's such a great supporter of his sister Danny. It's wonderful to see. Up to the other end with the ball, it's the Skylights. Walsh drives, puts up a floater, tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Hovde. Carroll will get it back. And with 2.5 minutes, Coach Turcotte, I think it's safe to say the Saints have taken care of the business they needed to take care of tonight.
Yeah, yes, they certainly did. Just a magnificent second half.
28-5, they outscored Northern in the third quarter. If you do that, you will win the game 100 times out of 100. Emma Madsen, top of the key with the ball. She gets it over to Nessen. Nessen, far wing with it, goes to Williams. Williams dribbles, hands it off to Wilkinson. Wilkinson takes off the dribble again. Spin move, up with the right, no good. Long rebound brought down by the Skylights. Bringing that one down is Lorton. Lorton kicks it back, and Walsh sets up the offense for the Skylights. Walsh working to the far wing. She passes it off. Here's a drive kick by McDermott. That was Kenya Lorton driving up the near side of the key here, and McDermott just sending it out of bounds. Nice play there by the one they call Molly McBuckets.
Molly can get beat on the ball and then recover and block it from behind. She's so long. Ooh, a banker.
Yeah, a nice bank shot there.
That would have been neat. That rattled.
Oh, gosh, it was so close. Northern takes it back up the court. They swing it around. Here's a drive. Floater up and no good. That time it was Goldhahn Ness and gets the rebound. Guarded full court by Goldhahn. She gets her with a little crossover and gets it across midcourt. Nessen proving early in her career to be a very fluid ball handler.
Yeah, she's got some point guard skills.
She passed it to Wilkinson, who gives it to McDermott. McDermott posts up, goes up with it, fade away. No good for McDermott, and McDermott's had some really good looks fall short tonight, and I feel bad for her. To the other end, it's a pull-up three from Lorton. That's no good. That'll run out, that'll get us down to 19 seconds on the shot clock. Three-pointer up, no good. Tipped by Hovde. Wilkinson knocks it loose. Northern gets it in. The game clock's down to 15 seconds. 65-36, the Saints lead. Three-pointer from Lorton. They'll let her have that one. She buries it. And with 10 seconds left, the Saints will inbound it and dribble this thing out. And Coach Turcotte, the Saints will clinch at least a part of the conference championship. They'll at least share it.
At the worst, they'll be conference co-champs. At the very worst.
And that clock will run down, and good for Coach Sayers and good for this basketball team. They've battled adversity all season long, and the way they've played down the stretch of this season has been admirable, winning their last 4 games. You know, it's hard to bounce back from that, the way they lost at West on that buzzer beater, but they did, and they've been great ever since. And a tip of the cap to Coach Sayers and this Carroll basketball team with a very convincing 65-39 win over the Skylights tonight. And we'll see what happens tomorrow with LC State and Western. But until then, the Saints have to be proud of what they accomplished in this gym tonight on Senior Day.
Well, they do. And you know, Daniel, you talked about Rochelle Sayers, but I think we should probably mention J.D. Solomon,
Bailey Pasta,
Hannah
Dean,
who have really spent a lot of time on skill development. And you can see the time has paid off. I mean, they are good assistant coaches. They're very loyal. They've worked hard, and they've made a dent. They've made a real opportunity for these girls to get better.
And you coached with those coaches every day last year, and you know they lost a Hall of Famer on their bench. They lost you, Gary, and they replaced you with Bailey, and Bailey does a great job, and JD, and having Hannah Dean with the experience that she's had playing, she can be such a good mentor for these players. And as they bring out the ladder, the Saints are going to cut the nets down as they've clinched to share the conference title. And I mean, just what a great night here in the PE Center, especially for those two seniors, Taylor and Emerald.
Right, and you know, the game started that Carroll was kind of flat. Thank goodness for Sienna Swanek, who maybe had one of her best games of the year tonight.
Yes.
Let me take a quick look at her stats. 8 for 9 is all. 8 for 9 from the field, 5 for 5 from the three. 8 rebounds, 21 points. Give me a break.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, just think of that. I mean, Sienna Swanek, 8 for 9 from the field, 5 for 5 from the three, 7 rebounds.
And 21 points.
21 points. That is an amazing performance by Sienna tonight.
Well, a lot to come still here on Saints Game Day, driven by Placer Motors, as Taylor Sloan makes the first cut into that net. And we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll continue to talk about that first game. We'll get ready to look ahead at the men's game. We'll see what Coach Sayers, what time she joins us. We'll hear from her eventually. But right now we're going to go ahead and step aside. When we come back, the post-game show built by Builders First Source as the Saints win 65-39 and clinch a share of the Frontier Conference title here on your home for the Saints. Rewind 94.9 and KCAP.com. Back in here, it's the Carroll post-game show built by Builders First Source. I'm Daniel Sally, joined by Coach Gary Turcotte here inside the Cochran Insurance broadcast booth at the PE Center as the Saints are cutting down the nets. Right now it's Erica Ness, and we've seen majority of the team climb up there on that ladder. We're still waiting for some of those assistants to hop up there have their cut at the net, get that piece, and what an outstanding memory this is for this group of girls, and what a game they played tonight, winning 65-39. As I go ahead and look at the stats, field goal percentage, Saints shot 40%, 25 of 61, with MSU-Northern shooting 23%, 12 of 51. A good job by the defense of the Saints tonight, frustrating this Northern team. And looking at three-pointers, Saints finished with 10. They had 3 in the first half, 7 in the second half. And those 10 threes will be sponsored by Jolene Lloyd. And another cool thing that Jolene Lloyd is doing tonight, as I mentioned what we're going through here in the Carroll community with Jeff Shirley. He's battling leukemia. Well, Jolene Lloyd announced that she'll be donating money for every point scored in the Helena High girls games here in Helena this weekend as they play Glacier and Flathead. I believe Flathead tonight and Glacier tomorrow. So that's a big gesture there by Jolene to donate more money as they bring back in Coach Gary Turcotte. But she's donating for 10 threes in the women's game tonight. Looking at some other stats for the Saints, they won the assist battle 14-5. And like you talked about, you get good shots from good passes. Turnovers, they finished with only 10. Steals, they win that battle 8-4. Blocks, Saints had 6 blocks. They did not get a single shot block tonight, which is just excellent. And looking at the rebounding battle, 12 offensive rebounds for Carroll. They finished in double digits there. Again, I believe that's the 3rd game in a row they've had double digits offensive rebounds. Coach Sayers has been preaching that tip drill ever since they won that game on it at Providence, where Salonen tipped that one out to Wagner, set her up for a 3. So a lot to be proud of tonight for the Saints. Individual numbers, first with Northern. Their leading scorer was Hovde. She had 9 points to go with 9 rebounds. Right behind her with 7 was Peyton Kerr. 5 points for Kenya Lorton, 4 points for Alex Goldhahn, and 6 points for Riley Kerr. And, of course, we already talked about Sienna Swanek, 21 points, 8 rebounds, leading all scorers tonight. And following her up, you have 9 points from Camden Hilborn, 7 points from Christine Denny, 7 points from Jaden Lyman, 4 points from Danny Wagner, and 5 points from Emma Madsen to go with the 8 points from Emerald Toth. An outstanding outing from the Saints team as they continue to cut these nets down, and I believe they'll get ready to put up a new one here. Or they're going to go to the other end now. It looks like they're going to cut both of them down.
That'll take a while.
They're going to get that ladder up, and the 3 left for the individual cuts where you get that piece and put it behind your ear. We're going to have Coach Bailey Pasta, Hannah Dean, and J.D. Solomon, Rochelle Sayers. They're going to go up and cut their pieces of the net as the team poses for a picture at midcourt. And Coach Turcotte, as we stay here and look at some of these stats, I mean, you look at the Saints. From 3, they go 3 of 11 in the first half. They finished 10 of 26. I think they have a lot to be proud of with not only how they shot the ball, but like you said, how they moved the ball there in that second half.
Yeah, yes. When you shoot the ball, it's almost always because you pass the ball well. It almost always is. I mean, sometimes you're just cold, but they really made some great passes. And when you get a great pass in the shooting pocket, when you're rhythmed up, the chances of you making it are better than 50-50 if you're a college shooter, which these girls are. But Daniel, here's some interesting things to think about. Carroll had 25 field goals. Northern had 12. I mean, Carroll had more assists and more offensive rebounds than they did turnovers. So Carroll turned it over 10 times. They had 14 assists, and they had 12 offensive rebounds. Now, in women's basketball, it's hard to be much better than that. I mean, women, they turn it over some because they play pretty up tempo.
And a nice moment now as Coach Sayers gets ready to cut down the entire other net on the left side of us here. She's going to go ahead and be greeted by a loud ovation as she makes that final cut. And congratulations to Coach Rochelle Sayers, her staff, and her team as she brings down that net, greets the crowd to a nice ovation. And the Saints, for tonight, will at least have a share of the conference title, and they'll have a chance tomorrow. If LC beats Western, they will be outright champions, and that is just a nice stamp on what's been a wonderful conference season so far for the Carroll Fighting Saints. But still a lot of basketball left to be played for this team as they get ready to go into conference tournament play, and after that they'll make the national tournament. I think they've about sealed that now.
Yeah, they're going. You could book your tickets.
Yeah,
for Billings. Yeah. If you want to get your motel room, get it early because Carroll's going.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And they're going to clinch their shot, and it'll be a nice road trip for all you Saints fans out here. So when you go to Billings, that's an easy trip. The weather, gosh, it hasn't been a problem yet, but the roads will be plenty clear for you as they go into mid-March. And I really do think the Metro is a fine venue to host that national tournament at, too. I think it works just well.
I agree. It's a great place. Billings does a superlative job of hosting it. They really go all out. The community gets involved. It's very well organized. They have it's a beautiful.
Done a great job. And as they greet the seniors, we're going to go ahead and step aside. When we come back, we'll continue the post-game show. We'll hear from Coach Sayers eventually after she gets done greeting her seniors. And then after that, we'll go ahead and look into the pregame show for the men's game as an extended period of time in between games compared to normal between the cutting of the nets and, of course, senior day. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the post-game show and hopefully talk to Rochelle Sayers here as you're listening to Carroll College Basketball on Rewind 94.9. Carroll wins 65-39. Daniel Sally and Gary Turcotte here inside the Cochran Insurance broadcast booth as we're in between games here from the PE Center after a 65-39 Carroll College victory over the Skylights of MSU-Northern, and doing things a little differently tonight as we had the cutting down of the nets that took some time, and now as we have the senior day, or senior night I should say, introductions, I figure we might as well take some more time to highlight some of these seniors. The first person we saw introduced out there was Emerald Toth, and I think we've talked about it a couple different times already.
Yeah.
But you can tell the type of impact and the type of person Emerald Toth is by the way she was received by her team. And Taylor Salonen's going to come over and give Coach Turcotte a hug. So I love to see that. And Coach Turcotte is going to get his hug from Taylor. And Taylor's going to go greet Coach Sayers as they're introduced to Taylor Salonen. Of course, only 3 seniors total tonight, 2 from the women, Salonen and Toth, and 1 from the men with Dane Warp. But like I was saying, Coach, Emerald Toth, you can tell the impact. He's a popular guy. He's getting another greeting, I believe, from Taylor's dad here. But as I bring Coach Turcotte back in, Emerald Toth, you can tell the type of person she is by the level of impact she made one year. And now we got another person coming to greet Coach Turcotte. It's both of Taylor's parents as tears are being shed on the court. But we'll go ahead and continue talking about Emerald Toth, the senior who came in and really put in the work to become a starter on this team and had a great year. And Coach, another player who obviously you have a great relationship with, her and both of her parents coming over to greet you, and it shows you've had an impact on her career here. Well, it's Taylor Salonen, and Taylor Salonen, I've said it time and time again, just one of the kindest, most genuine persons. She's a leader not only on the team but on the campus. She's someone who's an SAAC. She gets good grades, and she's going to be a teacher, and I think she's going to be a very good one at that. And Taylor Salonen, just an inspiring 4-year career for her to come in, didn't play much as a freshman, played more than she expected as a sophomore, and from then on it's been history. She's done a great job playing such a good role on this Carroll team is Taylor Salonen.
Well, she's in there at crunch time. She's Carroll's best post defender. She makes her free throws. She's a crunch time player. And a lot of the wins that Carroll has is due to Taylor Salonen playing at crunch time.
And don't forget that game. It comes to mind, the game at LC State where she hit the 3 to tie it and hit the 3 to take the lead. It was sort of her Heisman moment in her senior year.
Wasn't that amazing?
And Taylor Salonen just having an incredible year. And Coach Sayers has nothing but good things. And a guy who I've gotten to know very well over the last couple years who's being introduced right now as we get ready for the men's game. The last senior being introduced as it looks like one of his uncles holding up a sign that says St. Dane on it. But Dane Warp. And I got to know him as a freshman, and we've become friends over the last couple of years, and I had the privilege of going to school with him, getting to know him, and it's been just such a treat to be able to help tell the story of his senior year. And Dane Warp's a guy, things didn't go his way exactly his freshman and sophomore year. He was playing behind a lot of talent. You have guys like Laurel Johnson, Ife Kalajai, Ryan Imhoff, Matt. I mean, you go down the list. We had so much talent, and Dane just had to wait his turn. And he did it with the most grace and the best attitude. And then all of a sudden, his junior year, he's the only person left in his incoming class. He gets a new coach. The odds are stacked up against him. And Dane just answers the bell, like I said, with the most grace. And he's had such a wonderful career here playing for Carroll College.
And a great senior year, tremendous. And he's out there at half court now getting awarded his award. And half of Havre's out there with him. It really is.
And their family's wonderful.
It's
his
a great
mom
big
Jane
family.
out there with his dad Doug. His brother Isaac able to make it. His little brother Josh, who I've also gotten to know, not able to make it tonight because he is actually playing in the, I believe, the divisional tournament right now in Billings, and he's playing for the Havre Blue Ponies, having a nice little season. I believe they got a win today and are playing again tomorrow morning at the Metro. But as we have Dane out there, this is the closest I've seen to Dane being emotional, I think, ever. He's such a stone cold dude, and I mean that in the best and nicest way possible. He keeps that straight face. He goes about his business, but he does it so gently. He's such a nice guy. And a great student as well. I mean, he shows the kind of leader he's been. He is a guy who has been battling, back and forth to medical school interviews all season long so far.
Imagine going on your medical school interview, flying back, getting back on the red eye at 12 o'clock at night, then getting up and have to play a basketball game. Congratulations, Dane.
And Dane getting the standing ovation he deserves. And like we talked about, the girls become leaders in the future. That's going to be Dane Warp. He's going to, wherever he ends up going to medical school, he's going to be successful. He's going to do great things. And I know everyone in the Carroll community is so proud of Dane Warp. And he's a guy who a lot of people thought his college career was going to be spent on the gridiron, tossing the pigskin around. But he ended up making the decision to come play basketball at Carroll. And I know he never looked back. He did it with no regrets, and he has just had such a wonderful campaign over the